If you're listening to this, don't pause the video. I'm serious. I know it sounds like every other fake horror story online. I thought the same thing. I almost laughed when I saw it. If I could go back, I wouldn't even open it. If you pause this, he'll be able to see you. My name is Ethan, and I shouldn't be recording this, but if I don't, no one will understand what's happening. And maybe you'll be next. It started like nothing. I was lying in bed, scrolling through my phone, not really paying attention to anything. Just video after video, post after post, all blending together. Then I saw it, a post with a simple title, "Do not read this at night." Of course I opened it. The text looked wrong immediately. Not just scary wrong, like it wasn't written to tell a story, but to warn someone. If you're reading this, it's already too late. I don't know how to explain this properly. He's not in the story. He's not in the text. He comes through the people who read it. If you got this far, you already opened the door. I remember smirking. It felt like a cheap creepypasta, the kind people copy and repost 100 times. I was about to close it when I noticed a comment. Just one. I think he's behind me. That alone wasn't what got me. It was the fact that it had just been posted. I opened the profile. Nothing, no posts, no history. Like it didn't exist until that moment. Then the page refreshed on its own. I didn't touch the screen. The text shifted slightly, like something had been added. At the bottom, a new line appeared. "You're still here." I frowned and refreshed the page myself. Another line appeared. "Don't turn around." I hesitated. It was stupid. I knew it was stupid. And still, I turned around. There was nothing behind me. Just the same room. Same walls. Same open door leading into the dark hallway. I shook my head and looked back at the phone. The text had changed again. "You turned around." Anyway, something about that made my chest tighten. "This isn't funny," I said out loud, even though there was no one there to hear it. At least, that's what I thought. I got up and walked to the door. Looking into the hallway. It was empty. Silent. I turned the light on. Nothing. Everything looked normal. I went back to my bed and picked up the phone. Again. Another new line waited for me. "Light won't help. You." I stared at it for a few seconds, then locked the screen and tossed the phone aside. "That's enough," I muttered. I left the room and walked into the kitchen, trying to calm myself down. I poured a glass of water, but my hands weren't steady anymore. I kept thinking about the way the text changed, the way it responded. Like it wasn't pre-written, like it was watching. I tried to laugh it off. Told myself it was some kind of trick, maybe a scripted page, something designed to react. Then I heard it. A step behind me. Inside the apartment. I stopped moving. Another step followed. Slow, careful, not loud, not accidental, deliberate. "Hello?" I called out, but my voice didn't sound like mine anymore. No answer. I turned around slowly. Nothing was there, but something felt wrong. I walked back toward my room, and that's when I noticed the door. It wasn't open anymore. It was slightly closed. I knew I hadn't done that. I stood there for a moment, staring at the gap. Then I pushed the door open. My phone was on the bed. The screen was on. Waiting. A new line had appeared. "I told you, don't turn around." I felt my stomach drop. I hadn't taken the phone with me, I was sure of. That dot, and then something clicked in my head. I never heard anyone come in, no door opening, no footsteps from the hallway, nothing, the steps I heard were real, and they were inside. I slowly backed away from the bed, my eyes still locked on the screen. Another line appeared. You're starting to understand. My breathing got heavier. Wanted to leave the apartment. Just walk out. But something stopped me. A thought that didn't feel like my own. If I leave, they'll follow. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know how. I knew, but I did. The screen flickered again. You can't leave now. My hands went cold. I stepped back again. Hitting the wall behind me, the room suddenly felt smaller, like the air itself was heavier, like something was there with me, watching, waiting, I looked at the doorway, and for a split second, I thought I saw something move. Not clearly, not fully, just enough to know I wasn't alone anymore. I grabbed the phone with shaking hands. Another message appeared. Don't worry. I swallowed hard. Then the last line appeared. I'm still getting closer. And that's when I realized this wasn't just a story anymore. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt it. Not a sound, not a movement, just a presence. Like someone standing too close, just outside of sight. I kept the lights on, I kept the phone in my hand. I kept refreshing. The page, it was the only thing that made sense anymore. The post was still there, waiting, watching, the text didn't change for a while, and somehow that was worse. It felt like it was giving me time, letting me sit with it, letting me think. Then a new line appeared. You're still awake. I stared at it, my fingers tightening around the phone. Of course I am. I whispered. Another line appeared almost instantly. I know. My chest tightened. I switched apps, closed everything, opened something random, videos, messages, anything. But after a few seconds, the screen flickered, and the post was back. I hadn't opened it. It just returned. A new line waited for me. You can't ignore me. I stood up abruptly and backed away, like the phone itself wasn't safe to hold anymore. This isn't real, I said under my breath, but it didn't feel like I believed it. I opened the camera. I don't even know why. Maybe I just needed to prove to myself that there was nothing there. The front camera turned on. My face filled the screen. Pale, tired, eyes wide behind me. Nothing. I slowly turned, pointing the camera toward the room. Bed, door, closet, everything looked normal. Too normal. I turned the camera back to my face, and that's when I saw it for just a second. Something behind. Tall. Wrong. Not fully there. Like it didn't belong in the same space. I spun around. Nothing. I turned back to the camera. Gone. My breathing got heavier. No, I whispered. No. The phone vibrated in my hand. I didn't want to look, but I did. Post had updated again. You're trying to see me. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. Another line. You're not ready yet. I dropped the phone onto the bed and stepped back again. What do you want? I said out loud. For a moment, Nothing happened, then the screen lit up again. You. I shook my head. That doesn't make sense. No response. I waited, seconds. Stretched longer than they should. Then a sound. Not from the phone, from behind me. A soft exhale, right next to my ear. I froze completely. Every muscle locked. I could feel it. Something was there. Close. Too close. But I couldn't move. I couldn't turn. My vision blurred slightly, like my brain was trying to protect me from something I wasn't supposed to see. Then the phone buzzed again. You felt that? I squeezed my eyes shut. This isn't happening. It is. The reply came instantly. My legs finally moved. I stumbled forward, grabbing the phone again like it was the only connection I had to whatever this was. What are you? I typed. The screen stayed still for a moment. Then slowly, letter by letter, a response appeared. I'm already here. My hands started shaking. Again, I turned toward the door. I needed to leave. I didn't care any more. I reached for the handle and stopped. Something felt wrong. Not just fear. Something else. Like the moment I touched that door, everything would change. The phone buzzed again. Don't. I pulled my hand back instantly. Why? No answer. I waited. Then the screen updated. You won't like what's outside. A cold wave passed through me. What's outside? I whispered. The reply took longer. This time. Long enough to make my heart race even faster. Then it appeared. Me. I stepped back from the door. Slowly. Carefully. Trying not to make a sound. Like it mattered. Like it couldn't already hear me. I looked back at the room. At the corners. At the shadows. And for the first time, I realized something worse than anything before. If it was outside and inside, then there was nowhere left to go. The phone buzzed one more time. I'm getting closer. I looked up from the screen, and this time, I didn't need the camera to see it. Something moved in the darkness, and it wasn't hiding anymore. I couldn't pretend anymore. It wasn't in my head. It wasn't some glitch, and it definitely wasn't just a story. I saw it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough. Something was in the room with me. I forced myself to move, slowly stepping away from the corner where I thought I saw it. My eyes couldn't focus properly anymore. Every shadow felt wrong, like it was hiding something that didn't belong. There. The phone vibrated again in my hand. See me now. I didn't answer. I didn't know how to answer. Something like that. Another message appeared, not completely. My breathing was shallow. Now, what do you want from me? I typed. There was a delay this time, longer than before. Then the response came. To be seen? I stared at the words. That's it? That's it? I whispered. That's all you want? No answer. Then another message. For now. Something shifted in the room. Not a sound. Not movement exactly, but the feeling of distance changing, like whatever it was had taken a step closer. I backed into the wall again, gripping the phone so hard my fingers hurt. Stay away from me, I said. The screen lit up instantly. You invited me. My heart skipped. I didn't. You opened the door. The post. The words. The warning. I felt sick. How do I close it? I typed quickly. For the first time since this started, There was no response. Seconds passed, then more. The silence felt heavier than anything it had said before. Tell me how to close it. I typed again. Nothing. I looked up slowly. The room felt smaller, like the walls had moved closer, or like something inside the room had taken up more space. I couldn't tell which was worse. Then the phone buzzed again. You can't. My stomach dropped. Why not? No response. Another step. Closer this time. I heard it clearly. Not behind me. Not in another room. Right there. Inside. I turned my head slightly, and this time I saw more. A shape. Too tall to be a person. Too thin. Its head tilted slightly, like it was studying me. But its face. There was no face, just darkness. A space where something should have been. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The phone slipped slightly in my hand. But I didn't take my eyes off it. It didn't move. It didn't rush me. It just stood there. Watching. Waiting. The screen lit up again. You're doing better. My vision blurred. Better at what? I whispered. Another message. Looking. I felt something cold run down my spine. I don't want to look at you. You have to. Why? This time the answer came immediately. Because if you stop. The message paused. Then continued. I'll get closer faster. My heart started pounding so hard it hurt. So what? I just keep looking at you. I said, yes, that's insane. No reply, but the thing in front of me moved. Just slightly. Its head tilted the other way now, like it was curious, like it was learning. I forced myself not to look away. Every instinct in my body was screaming at me to run. To shut my eyes. To do anything but this. But I didn't, because something deep down told me it was telling the truth. The phone buzzed again. You're learning. My hands were shaking uncontrollably now. How long do I have to do this? There was a pause. Then, until I don't need you to. My throat went dry. And when is that? The longest silence yet. Then, the screen changed. Not just a line. The entire text shifted, rewrote itself. I'm almost there. I felt something change in the room. Again. The air. The pressure. Like everything was leaning toward me. The thing took another step. And this time, I saw its arms. Too long. Hanging lower than they should. Not moving naturally. Not human. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The phone buzzed one more time. Don't look away. My eyes burned. My vision shook, but I kept staring, because I knew the second I didn't, it wouldn't need the screen anymore. And that's when I understood something. Worse than everything before. It wasn't trying to scare me. It was getting used to. Learning how I see. How I react. How I look at it. So that soon it wouldn't need me to look at all. I don't know how long I stood there. It stopped feeling like time was moving normally. Everything was slow. Heavy, stretched. The only thing that stayed constant. Was it still in front of me? Still watching. But closer now, I could see more of it. Without wanting to. Its outline was clearer. Too tall. Too thin. Its arms hung too low. Almost reaching the floor, and they didn't move the way arms should. There was no tension, no weight. Just wrong. Its head tilted again, like it was trying to understand me. Or imitate me. My eyes burned from not blinking. Tears blurred my vision. But I didn't dare wipe them away. I didn't dare look away. The phone buzzed weakly in my hand. "You're getting tired." I swallowed hard. "I can't keep doing this." I whispered. No response. The thing in front of me shifted slightly. Not stepping, not walking. Just closer. Like distance didn't matter to it the way it did to me. "I'm serious," I said. "I can't." "You will." The reply came instantly. "You don't have a choice." My breathing became uneven. "What happens if I stop?" There was a pause, a long one. "Then you won't see me anymore?" For a second, that sounded like relief, like freedom, until the next line appeared. "But I'll still see you." My stomach twisted. No. Another step. Closer again. Now I could feel something else. Not just its presence. Cold. Not like air. Not like temperature. Like something pressing through me. Around me. I clenched my jaw, trying not to panic. "You said I have to look at you." I said. "I am." "Then why are you still getting closer?" No answer. Instead, it moved again. This time I saw it clearly. One of its arms shifted. Slowly. Too smoothly. Like it wasn't controlled by muscles. Like it didn't need them. My heart slammed against my chest. "What are you doing?" I whispered. The phone buzzed. "Learning." My hands started shaking harder. Learning what? How to be here. The room suddenly felt smaller. Not physically, but like something was taking up more space inside it. Like reality was bending around it. I felt dizzy. The edges of the room didn't look right anymore. Walls seemed slightly tilted. The doorway stretched further than it should. I blinked hard, trying to fix it. It didn't help. "You're changing things," I said. "No," the reply came. "You are." I froze. "What?" "You're letting me in." A sharp ringing filled my ears. "No, I didn't." "You're still looking." My breath caught. I didn't know what to say, because it was true. I hadn't looked away once. Not really. Not completely. Another shift. Closer. Now. It was so near I could see where its face should have been. Still. Nothing. Just darkness. But not empty. Something moved inside. It. Not a face, not eyes, but something that reacted when I focused on it. Like it noticed that I was trying to understand it. My vision warped. For a split second, I thought I saw my own reflection inside that darkness. Distorted. Wrong. I gasped and almost stumbled back. "Don't." The phone buzzed. "I didn't do anything." "You almost stopped." My pulse raced. "I can't do this," I said again. "Yes, you can." "Why me?" This time there was a pause, longer than before. Then, "Because you stayed." That hit harder than anything else. Not because it was scary, but because it made sense. I could have closed the post, could have ignored it, I could have walked away, but I DIDN single quotes T. I kept reading, I kept looking, and now it was here. The thing leaned forward, slightly. Not a full movement, just enough to break whatever distance was left between us. I felt that cold presence right in front of my face now, like it was inches away. I couldn't even see its full shape anymore, just fragments, pieces of something That didn't fit into reality. The phone buzzed. Again. One more step. My heart stopped. What? One more step and I won't need the screen. My fingers tightened around the phone. What does that mean? No answer. The thing moved again. Closer. Impossible. It was already too close. But somehow, it got closer. I felt it. Not just around me, but on me. Like something brushing against my skin without touching it. My vision flickered. For a second, the room disappeared, and I saw something else. A dark space. Endless. And it was there too. But bigger. Much bigger. I blinked and the room came back. I almost collapsed. What was that? I whispered. The phone lit up one last time. That's where I am. My blood ran cold, and now. The message continued. I'm almost where you are. I looked up. And for the first time, it felt like it wasn't just in front of me anymore. It was around me. I couldn't tell where it was anymore. It wasn't just in front of me. It wasn't just in the room. It felt like it was everywhere. At once. Around me. Behind me. Closer than anything should ever be. My vision kept slipping. Like reality couldn't hold itself together properly. Every time I tried to focus on something familiar, it looked wrong. The walls bent slightly, the corners didn't meet the way they should, and it was getting harder to breathe, not like something was choking me, like the air itself didn't belong to me anymore. The phone trembled in my hand. I'm here. I looked at the screen. No, you were already here. A delay? Then not like this. My chest tightened. What does that mean? No answer. Something brushed past my shoulder. I flinched hard, almost dropping the phone. There was nothing there, but I felt it. Clear as anything. Cold. Slow. Intentional. Double count. Stop, I said, my voice barely holding together. Just stop. You don't want me to stop. That made no sense. Yes, I do. No, the response came immediately. You kept going. My thoughts scrambled. What are you talking about? You kept reading. My grip tightened. That doesn't mean I wanted this. Another pause. Then you opened the door anyway. My stomach dropped again. I shook my head, backing up blindly until I hit the wall. This isn't fair. No response. Instead, the room shifted again, this time stronger. For a second, everything stretched. The floor felt like it tilted under me, and I saw it. Again. Not just the shape, not just the outline. More. Too much. Its body didn't make sense. It wasn't solid. It wasn't empty. It was like something trying to exist in a space that couldn't hold it. Parts of it flickered in and out. Too long. Too broken. Too wrong. I couldn't process it. My brain refused. The phone buzzed. Again. You're seeing more. I don't want to. I whispered. You do. No. Yes. Another step, except it wasn't a step. There was no movement. Just less distance. Now it was so close I couldn't even see its full shape anymore. Only pieces. Fragments. And that darkness where its face should be. It was different now. It reacted, not just to my eyes. To my thoughts. When I tried not to look at it, it shifted. When I focused on it, it changed, like it was adapting. Learning faster now. Why are you doing this? I asked. For you. That answer hit wrong. deeply wrong. I didn't ask for this. You did. How? The longest pause. Yet, then you're still here. My throat tightened, because it was true. I was still holding the phone. Still reading, still listening, still looking. I could have dropped it. I could have closed my eyes, but I didn't, because something in me needed to know what would happen next, and it knew that it understood that another shift. Now, it felt like something was right behind me. At the same time, I spun around, and there it was again. In front of me. Exactly where it had been, but I still felt it behind me. I froze. How? The phone buzzed. I'm not where you think. My breathing became shallow. Then where are you? A pause. Then closer. I shook my head. That's not possible. It is now. The pressure in the room increased again. Stronger. Heavier. Like something was pushing reality out of the way. I felt something against my back, not touching, but there. At the same time, it was still in front of me. I couldn't understand it. My mind started slipping. This isn't real. I whispered. It is. No. You feel me. And I did. That was the worst part. I actually did. Every direction, every space. It wasn't just around me anymore. It was overlapping me. The phone buzzed again. One more thing. I stared at the screen, barely able to focus. What? You don't need to look anymore. My heart stopped. What? The thing in front of me didn't move. Didn't need to, because I already felt it everywhere. I learned enough. My hands started shaking violently. No, you showed me how. My vision blurred completely for a second. You showed me how to see. You. Everything went quiet. Too. Quiet. No sound. No movement. Just that presence. Everywhere. Then the final message appeared. And now, a long pause. I don't need the screen. I slowly lowered the phone. For the first time since this started, I looked away, and nothing changed. It was still there. Still everywhere. Still, I froze, because I realized something far worse than anything before. It wasn't using the phone anymore. It didn't need me to look at it. Because now it could see me perfectly. I didn't move. I couldn't. The moment I looked away from the phone, nothing changed. It didn't disappear. It didn't go back. It stayed. Everywhere. Like it had always been there. Like the screen was never the source. Just the beginning. My hands slowly dropped to my sides. The phone almost slipped out of my fingers, but I barely noticed. Because now I could feel it clearly. Not around me. Not behind me. Through me. Like something was overlapping my body, my space, my thoughts. I tried to breathe normally, tried to think, tried to understand what was happening, but every thought felt watched, like it was hearing them before I even fully formed them. You're quiet now. The voice didn't come from the phone. I froze. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even really a sound. It was just there. Inside my head, I swallowed hard. You weren't supposed to do that. I whispered. You helped me. My chest tightened. I didn't help you. You stayed. That word again. It hit harder this time. Because now I understood what it meant. Not just reading, not just looking, staying, paying attention, following it, letting it exist longer, letting it learn. I can still stop this, I said, even though I didn't believe it. No. The answer came instantly. Why? A pause. Then, because I'm not there anymore. My heart started racing again. What do you mean? Not there? You don't need the place. Cold spread through my body. You don't need the screen. I felt something shift again. Not outside. Inside. Like something was. Aligning. Connecting. Double quotes. You don't need the story. My breathing became uneven. Then what do you need? I asked for the first time. The answer felt different. Not immediate. Not reactive. Like it was thinking. Choosing. Then dash. You. Everything went silent. Not the room, not the air, something deeper, like reality itself paused for a second. What does that mean? I asked quietly. No answer. But something changed. I felt it instantly. The pressure disappeared. The weight in the room lifted. The presence faded. I looked around. Nothing. The room was normal. Again. The walls were straight. The shadows made sense. There was no movement. No shape. No darkness. Where it shouldn't be. I stood there for a long time, not trusting it, not believing it, but it didn't come back. The phone screen was black now. No messages. No text. Nothing. Just my reflection. I picked it up slowly, opened the post again. It was gone, like it had never existed. No title. No comments. Nothing. I checked the profile. Empty. Everything normal. I let out a shaky breath, and for the first time since this started, I felt relief. Real relief. It's over. I whispered. No response. No message. No presence. Nothing. I don't know how much time passed after that. I didn't sleep. I didn't leave. I just sat there, waiting for it to come back. But at DIDN single quotes T. Eventually, I convinced myself it was over. That somehow I survived it. That I was just lucky. And then I understood. Immediately. Not all at once. Just a thought. Small. Quiet. But wrong. If it doesn't need the screen. If it doesn't need me to look at it. If it learned how to see, then why did it stop? My stomach dropped. Slowly. Heavily. Because the answer came on its own. It didn't stop. I looked at the phone. Again. At the dark screen. At my reflection. And for a split second, I didn't recognize my own eyes. They were focused. Too focused. Like they were looking at something else. Something behind the screen. Or through it. And then I heard it again. Not around me. Not in the room. Closer. You're not alone anymore. I froze. My fingers tightened around the phone. Don't worry. The voice felt calmer now, almost familiar. You did the hard part. My heart started pounding. What hard part? I whispered. A pause. Then the last thing it said, you showed me how to see them. I don't know how long you've been listening. I don't know how far you made it. But if you're still here, that means you didn't stop. That means you stayed. And if you stayed, then you did exactly what I did. Followed it. You listened. You let it continue. So now I need you to understand one thing. This was never about me. It was about you. Because It doesn't need me anymore, and it doesn't need the screen, but it still needs someone to look through Dot, and right now, it's looking through you, right behind you,